guys, it's Josh, aka Spidey Skater Boy, with your boy Evan here.
Hey, true believers, what's going on?
We just wanted to give a little news update on the Spidey Squad channel because we haven't been quite active as of late because we have things that we're working on, but they just take time. They're taking forever. Especially episode 2 of the podcast. That's really something that we really want to be right. But enough of that stuff. Let's get into the first piece of news, which is that Zendaya finally confirms, even though the writers confirmed this not too long after the movie came out, that her character Michelle is indeed a version of Mary Jane Watson, and more than likely will be, the only version of that character in the MCU. So before I get into the article, I just want to get quick thoughts before we fully dive into this. So what are your thoughts, man?
So, if you guys know me, I'm a pretty average fan of the MCU. I really do like all the main Avengers movies. I loved Infinity War. Homecoming, I liked it. I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it like some people do. I thought it was really good. I thought it showed Spider-Man in a new way, and I thought it was really interesting. Zendaya's character as Michelle, I thought she was fine. She didn't get a whole lot of screen time, so I can't really base her performance based off that one small role she had in Homecoming. And then at the end of the movie, of course, she says, "Oh, well, my friends call me MJ," so that's heavily teasing that she is, in fact, Mary Jane Watson by the end of that movie. And people are like, well, that's not true. That's just a little nickname, a little nod to the character. But it turns out, what Josh said, it is, in fact, that she is indeed the one and only Mary Jane Watson within the MCU. So I don't know really how to feel about that. I just hope that in Far From Home, if she is gonna appear again in that movie as MJ, quote-unquote, I hope that they really explain to the audience that this is indeed their version of Mary Jane Watson, because they focused on Liz Allen in Homecoming, and they took heavy inspiration from Liz Allen from the Spectacular Spider-Man show and incorporated it within Laura Harrier's version of the character. So with Zendaya, with MJ, it seems like she took the inspiration from Ultimate Mary Jane and then her own unique spin on it. So I just hope that they really showcase her character in a better light in Far From Home, if she is going to be in that movie.
Well, I just want to say, for when she is in fact going to be in it, she is on set actually. And plus, she's this version of Mary Jane. I would be surprised if she wasn't. But as for them exploring more of her character, that's kind of a given, considering how they, especially from how the movie ends and when she comes out, it's like, I'm MJ. It's kind of they already started setting that up, especially with that look she gives Peter when he goes off to meet Happy in the bathroom for some weird reason. But yeah, I'm not gonna give too much of my thoughts here, because if you've been subscribed to my channel long enough, or if you just heard me just say on Twitter or wherever, that I am for Zendaya as Mary Jane. Because why not? It doesn't really matter to me as long as she has some version of her red hair, which I think she probably will get in this movie. Because in the last one she had it dyed somewhat some parts of it purple, so she might do the same thing here, but red, if not all red. But I'm for it. I like her as an actress. I think she's talented at everything she does, so I'm for it. I like her enough, so I'm alright, I'm down. There are some parts of Homecoming I was but I'm for it. But without going too deep into it, I just want to at least read her quote about her finding out that she was Mary Jane. I'll just start from right here in the article. It says, Zendaya was surprised to land the role in Homecoming, mostly because she assumed she'd have to campaign to play MJ as an actress of color. As she tells it, at first I thought it would have to be because you're kind of used to that notion that, okay, even though the character is fictional and could be anybody, they probably are going to go with the standard of what they want and what they've always had. I definitely went into it like that. Hopefully they'll, as they call it in the industry, go ethnic. I remember, sorry, I have to scroll. I remember they were going to be more diverse in their casting. I didn't know that I was walking into a situation where they were already breaking the rules. You get so used to having to break the rules for people. I just want to stop right there because the rest of it is just, just saying, oh, people were, lashing out on her, which we all remember when that happened, when the rumor was out there. We don't need to tread those waters again. But just from that statement, that's kind of like why I'm more for it than anything, because I'm like, and granted, I am like, we're all comic book geeks. Some are more diehard than others. Me, I'm super diehard, especially when it comes to the whole world of Spider-Man. But in terms of like, quote unquote, portraying characters accurately, if we want to be technical, Mary Jane, yeah, she's typically drawn as someone who's as a white woman with red hair, but all she's known as just being a super attractive girl that Peter Parker wouldn't think he would be able to attain, and a woman who supports him for both being Spider-Man and being Peter Parker, and she loves him just for who he is, and she's known for her red hair as well. So, but the red hair thing is easily to do, just freaking dye your hair or get a wig or whatever the hell. But everything else, that goes along with any person. And Zendaya is quite attractive, so I think that it's fine. It's fine. And they are going more ultimate from what I've seen, and I dig it, but they are doing their own thing with it. So it's alright. They're doing their own thing, and I'm fine with it.
Yeah, for me, I think it's always nice to have change within a character. Try and change up their origins from the comics and from the shows and the movies and all that. And since, the last time we had Mary Jane in a movie was Spider-Man 3, and a lot of people... Yep.
Well, wait, actually, one thing I do want to say, technically she was in 2002.
I was going to say that, yeah, because Shailene Woodley was cast as MJ, but seeing her in the movie didn't happen because they cut her in the role. But yeah, like what Josh was saying, Shailene Woodley was going to be Mary Jane in The Amazing Spider-Man 2, and then they were going to have this scene dynamic between Emma Stone as Gwen Stacy and Shailene Woodley as MJ, and have that interaction with those two characters together and have them kind of fight over Peter or something. I wasn't down for that, so I'm glad they cut her role, and I don't know if I would have liked to see Shailene Woodley as MJ either. I think she's fine as an actress, but I don't know if I see her as MJ, per se. But Kristen Dunst, a lot of people have mixed feelings on her in those movies, in all the Raimi movies, specifically Spider-Man 3, where she was the most naggy. And me, I like her in the role, but I don't love her as Mary Jane. I think she is a bit too whiny here and there, and she's kind of a fragile character in those movies, whereas Zendaya's portrayal of MJ, so far, she seems to be very independent. She's very strong-willed. She's very intellectual from what it seems like. She won that whole...
You guys didn't give either.
Right.
Like, I don't get what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah, she's a very happy-go-lucky person, and she is clearly intelligent since she won the decathlon for the school, the trip, and I think that if they somehow have some chemistry where Peter has some romantic chemistry with MJ in Far From Home or something, I just hope that they actually connect instead of them just kind of slowly, slightly going over the relationship. Yeah, I think it does have to really go into fruition within this next movie if they really want to try and relate Peter Parker more to the audience by having him deal with some love life problems. Even though they kind of did that in Homecoming, but it was mainly just a crush he had on a girl, not like an actual girlfriend.
More of the backseat anyway.
Yeah, and since Liz now is gone, she's out of the picture. She moved to somewhere else. Mainly the only girl there besides MJ would I guess be Betty Brant, because she's also in this universe, but she's younger, and she is in like a different like classes than Peter, so I don't know if they could interact. But yeah, mainly MJ, Mary Jane, not Michelle Jones, but actually Mary Jane Watson is Zendaya from the MCU, and I am intrigued to see how her character will be portrayed in the movie. I just hope it's good, because again, a lot of people are diverse when it comes to the Raimi films, but if the MCU has done one thing, it's that they always do a great job in each movie to really showcase the relationship between characters that are love interests, like Scott Lang and Hope Van Dyne, and also Tony Stark and Pepper Potts. Even Bruce Banner with... Yeah, Peggy with Steve Rogers, and even Bruce Banner with Betty Ross, even in The Incredible Hulk with Edward Norton. I love that connection. So, if they do that in all those other movies and they pulled it off really well, I think they can also do it here, too. But we'll just wait and see.
I agree. Pretty much everything you said, but I gotta jump back, like, a couple ways back to MJ in the Raimi films, because this kind of stems into, like, why it kind of helped build my argument for the whole thing with Zendaya. We want to talk about comic book accuracy here, okay? And the quote-unquote 616 ideology of what Mary Jane is. What most people they're referring to the image. That has nothing to do with comic book accuracy. Because that's just how she looks doesn't necessarily portray her character, not 100%. Okay, you want to get technical, comic book accurate, quote-unquote, is Kirsten Dunst. And to me, the only time I see her as comic book accurate is in the first movie, and that's the only time I actually liked her, honestly. That's the only time she felt like Mary Jane. Every other time she was just being a complete bitch, or she just wasn't in character, or she was just awful. Alright? And I love the Raimi movies, and Spider-Man 1's my all-time favorite, always will be. And I'll put it above Spider-Man 2 in a heartbeat, trust me. But, like, she's not Mary Jane. Even in the first one, as much as I defend her in that movie, she's not Mary Jane at all. And we just gotta be open to things, you know? And, you know, people just gotta let certain things go. Like, it's a comic book character. You shouldn't be getting all butthurt because they just chose a different actor. Like, that's one thing. Second, if she gets across the core elements of the character, and she may look different because of her skin color, oh well, you can still do the red hair, so move on. But as far as like what I've seen from her, I do like her. Like I said before, there are just some scenes in Homecoming I'm like, eh. But I do agree with Evan in the fact that they need to get the chemistry right, like in terms of like how they naturally progress. And I have faith in that they'll do it. I mean, one, they already have the chemistry. Two, you know, the Spider-Man curse was probably in effect and they're probably dating. Three, it probably might even work more in terms of like building up the relationship, considering how in this movie Peter's gonna have PTSD from coming back from the dead and from whatever happens in Avengers 4, and he's gonna have this. He's gonna be with his friends and family, and probably the one person that's probably gonna help him like deal with it the most might not even be Ned or Aunt May. It might even be Michelle. They probably might go that way, and if they do, I would not be surprised, and I would genuinely be pleased by that, because he needs that, because she was always that character in the comics, and if you can get that across, then to me you already have me sold on her being Mary Jane or Michelle or MJ, whatever you prefer to call her.
Yeah, I think that on how Marvel have proven themselves time and time again with trying to really showcase the human side of all these superhero characters and really show that they do have real lives with real people that really have emotions, that they try and showcase that human side of them. Even Thor, or the Guardians have to deal with those types of emotions and those relationships.
Thanos, look at Infinity War.
Yeah, exactly. Even someone like Thanos has that type of struggle with someone that he cares about with Gamora, and yet he totally just killed her like nothing. Spoilers.
He said, "Yeet, bitch, yeet." He like, this bitch empty, yeet.
But I definitely think that with this new portrayal of MJ, and it's the year of 2018. By the time Far From Home comes out, it'll be 2019. Yeah, so, I mean, come on. Like, we're already in the 21st century. Race shouldn't be a big issue when it comes to these.
Race should have never been an issue,
yeah,
but that's besides the point.
It should never be a big factor of a comic book character cast member or actor who's portraying that character. But what really matters is their performance. So, I think, like I said earlier, I think Zendaya did a fine job with what she had and how much time she had on screen with Homecoming, But if she is indeed Mary Jane Watson and how much that character means to people, I think that if she is in Far From Home as the main love interest or as just a character that will be featured in that movie, I do hope that they at least show her in the right way. And that's all I can ask for.
I agree with you 100%. Like, I have faith in her, and I have faith in the movie. And before we transition to the next topic that you'll introduce, I just want to say a couple things. One, I told y'all niggas so. Second, it doesn't matter like who you are, as long as you understand the context, like the core of the character, and can portray that well and make people, feel for the character and actually, like the character and get behind it, then you're good. You're good. It doesn't matter. But yeah, I'm gonna let you take the wheel now, Evan.
Well, with that first amazing topic out of the way, Josh, we're now going to move on to the second and last part of our video, is about, of course, Spider-Man PS4 and how super excited we are about it. It's less than a month away. We're so hyped. We have seen all this new footage.
It's so insane. It's a month away, dude. It's crazy. 2 years, man. We're already here.
It's insane. I honestly can't believe that it's been this long and we're actually so close to the finish line. It's unbelievable. But even with that in mind, how close we are, we're still learning more and more stuff about the game every day. And recently, even though we've been getting all this awesome footage of the game, showing off the Kingpin boss fight, some new indoor stealth missions, some new combat, and of course swing tricks, there is one detail that has been revealed about the rating of the game, and we all knew that it was most likely going to be a T-rated game, which it is now confirmed that it is, in fact, a T-rated game. But it's not that is what is so intriguing. It's actually about the themes of the story that will be featured within Spider-Man PS4 and how Insomniac are handling the narrative of the game, even though it is a T rating. So basically, on comicbook.com, they have this recent article that was posted a couple days ago at the time of this recording, saying Spider-Man PS4's teen rating warns of suicide, slow-motion killing, and designer narcotics. And also, to basically summarize this article, they basically break down that the game will overall have a mature tone, even though it is a T-rated game, but it will also feature intense gunfire, screams of pain, impact sounds, and occasional slow-motion sequences that may feature killing, and there is a scene of someone shooting themselves in the head off screen, and it implies that they committed suicide at one point in the game, while also in another part of the game, some of the language is more mature because they actually say the S word, full-on S word, during a part of the game's dialogue in the story. And also has to deal with drug dealing, of course, like we know already with the grave dust, Tombstone's grave dust, and also the thugs doing drug deals and creating havoc in the city. So not only is this awesome for so many reasons, but it's just so great that we are actually getting more details about the full-on rating of the game. Even though it is T, we now know that there will be more insane sequences with mature story points, and they're not toning it down. They actually are telling their own unique Spider-Man story, and that apparently includes some foul language, some intense scenes, and suicide with death, like actually more like showing off a suicide on screen, which I find really, really bold of Insomniac and Marvel and PlayStation to do that for this game, because in Arkham Knight, Batman Arkham Knight, that was rated M because the story was so dark. The story that Rocksteady was telling for that game, the reason why they made it M is because of how dark it was. So I'm actually really blown away that even though the game is rated T for teen, there will be indeed foul language, suicide, drugs, and killing in the game, which is insane. And even though they've said Spider-Man doesn't kill, maybe some villains might kill some people. Like they say, a thug, shoots a civilian off screen, and they die. So it's really crazy that they're going that far with this game. So I'm already loving this game, but knowing this makes me even more excited than I already was. But what do you think about this, Josh? Let's hear your thoughts.
Well, one, I just wanted to say, because you just mentioned it in passing, you were talking about Arkham Knight being rated M because of the story. Well, one, I mean, yeah, there were some parts where it was pretty dark, but I honestly thought it was because, you're playing as Red Hood and you're literally shooting people in the face. That's what I thought. I literally thought that's why it was rated M, because you have an actual character like killing people on the screen. But hey, the more you know, I guess. But as for my thoughts on what you just told me, my main and initial thought, which I've already told you, not in the video before while we were talking about this before we did this, I was like, why didn't they just go all the way and make it M? And I understand, yeah, you want to appeal to everybody, and like, but let's be real here. One, this is Spider-Man. Second, kids that are like 10 years old are getting rated M games. Hell, my cousin, who's 10 years old, got Call of Duty World War II for his birthday when he turned 10. And yeah, I guess but it's Call of Duty, but it's a rated M game. And honestly, I think that Call of Duty World War II has had the most gore for a Call of Duty game in a minute. So yeah, take that as you will. But anyway, I'm just like, why just do like have certain things off screen? Like you should just go all the way, just go balls to the walls. They go insane. And they already said they're trying to get put this like in a somewhat real world, like New York kind of, and show like in terms of like the gang violence. And from what we've seen so far, as someone who lives in an urban city and has to deal with gang violence, some of the stuff I've seen here, I'm like, yeah, this is legit. And it has me excited because I've never been able to experience that in a superhero game, let alone a Spider-Man game. And the fact that it's being implemented into a video game that I've been excited for the past years, and it's with my favorite comic book character, it's just like, oh, this is going to be so dope playing through these situations. And, now that I think about it, they kind of already alluded to it because in that art museum gameplay that we got, there's one of the inner demons intimidating one of the hostages, because there's two people in there, and it was another person they found, and he's asking where are the files, and he shoots his gun, but like barely passing her, and trying to scare her, like, where are the files? Like, it's gonna be pretty intense. I just wish they just went a little bit further and just and Marvel would just take off the chastity belt and let them go full apeshit, like, let them go free balling and let them do whatever they want. Like, I just wish that was the case. But from what I'm hearing, though, like, what they're doing, I am excited. I am hyped. Like, I am legit hyped.
Yeah, me too. Like, I've been so excited for this game since day one, as you all know, and I was already super excited to see that this story was going to go into a more realistic and grounded approach where the worlds of Peter Parker and Spider-Man are going to collide, and those are the best stories, and that's the main theme of this game, like we all know, since 2016. But I'm really...
That was the tagline, though.
Right. But I'm really happy that they are actually going more in depth with the narrative and actually saying that, hey, there will indeed be some hardcore stuff in this game. You may not see it on screen, but it's implied, and they will at least, hopefully, at some point, probably, where a villain will most likely do something to Peter or Aunt May or maybe even MJ, and that will have a dark presence in the story at some point, maybe causing it to be a really drastic moment of the game and a really dramatic scene where you're gonna have to try and stop this villain before they kill someone that you care about. So that's really, really cool that is what they're implying with this description, and the fact that also the foul language. I don't think I've personally ever heard Spider-Man or characters within a Spider-Man form of media besides the new animated series, 2003, Neil Patrick Harris, use foul language. That show's amazing. But in the games, not really. The only closest one would be, I guess, either Web of Shadows or Spider-Man Noir and Shattered Dimensions. But this, it's a real, it's a brand new Spider-Man story. It's a true single-player Spider-Man experience. It's an open-world game. It's Arkham level quality in that regard, and the fact that they're treating it not only that for the gameplay but also for the story's tone as well makes me very excited. And what we already know, John Paquette, Ben Arfman, and Christos Gage are the main writers, along with Dan Slott, who was only partially involved at the beginning of the game, but they're the main writers of this game's story, and they've kept saying that they're really trying to focus on both sides of the character while also doing some as well. So I'm really excited to see where this story could go and how they're going to handle it by the time the full game comes out.
I just want to also add, because, and Evan, you've been here for these conversations, because things that we were seeing, I was really fearful for the fact they were gonna actually not. It wasn't gonna be as mature as I was hoping, and I was like, oh, it's gonna be, you know, appealing more to kids than anything. Like, I'm like, I want an adult Spider-Man. Like, I want him to have adult relationships and do adult things, like not just go to work and that kind of shit. But like, I want him to, you know, get pissed off and, you know, like, even not everyone like curses up a storm when they're pissed. But, you know, like what? Like, holy shit, I'm going to kill you. Like, you know, like something, you know, like something, you know, something real. And like in terms of relationships, like show like that, you know, him and Mary Jane were at one point, you know, serious, you know, not just like, hey, can I hold your hand because like I'm your boyfriend. Like I wanted like a mature, legit, serious Spider-Man story, like something like JMS used to do back like in the late 90s, early 2000s. You know, I wanted shit like that. Like, and as more and more stuff that we got, I was kind of teeter-tottering in between, like, are they going to, are they not? And then this kind of has me like, okay, I'm taking this a bit more serious now. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I was already excited for the story from the get-go, but now that they're adding more information about what it will fully have, with more serious tones, dramatic situations, possible life or death scenarios, and a bit more of a, you know, not fully mature, like, you know, like NC-17 rating, but at least on the side of, yeah, it's not going to be your little kiddie Spider-Man, but actually a serious, realistic story with some actual stuff that would happen in a real scenario, or at least where at least you would have an adult Spider-Man. He's been experienced for a while. He's dealing with all these situations and criminals in the city, and he has been at this for a long time, so he would probably have to deal with more drastic situations, hostages, possibly dying, foul language, drug busts, narcotics, suicide. I'm really interested to see what type of narrative they can play back and forth between Peter Parker and Spider-Man and the characters that will be in these situations. Are they just thugs, or are they going to have a major character like maybe Miles or MJ deal with something that's serious? So I'm really curious to see how that's going to go down and where they're going to go with the story.
Same here. And also, you mentioned Miles, like if he's going to do something serious. Well, I'm pretty sure you remember that from that behind the scenes thing that they had, and there was that leaked, you know, like, well, not leaked, but someone took a screenshot of, you know, like a frame from that behind the scenes video, and it was like a mocap thing that they were still working on. It said Miles defending. So I don't know what's gonna happen there. I'm not even gonna get into the whole Miles thing because that would be a whole separate video that I would have to do. But yeah, like I think that, like, and obviously for Mary Jane as well, she's gonna go through some shit herself, and I think that they're both gonna have some moments where it's gonna be like you're gonna be like, oh, okay, I see what you're doing, Insomniac.
Yeah, I definitely think there's going to be some moments with these characters that we're not expecting, and maybe taking them in different ways that we've never seen before. That's what they already said that they're going to do with Peter. That's why Miles is in the story in the first place, because it's going to show off another side of Peter that we've never seen before. And the fact that now they're saying that there will indeed be some serious moments in the game makes me even more excited to see how it's all going to play out and what they could do to each other or for the other characters in the game. So that's really, really exciting for me, and I just can't wait to see it be all totally in action. But anyways, guys, I think that's it. We talked about Spider-Man Far From Home and Spider-Man Homecoming with Zendaya most likely being confirmed to be the MCU's version of Mary Jane Watson, and the T-rated teen rating for Spider-Man PS4, indicating that there will indeed be some serious moments within the game, and it's going to be really, really cool to see both those be played out in just really a couple more weeks for the game, but we have to wait a bit longer for Far From Home. But it's so exciting that just saying that a few more weeks, a month, less than a month until the game comes out. We're so excited, and we hope you are too.
This is for you, MJ. What?